Hello, TEDsters. Okay, I want you to look around you. Now back to me. Now back to them. Now back to me. Unfortunately, they're not me, and not giving one of the best introductions to a TED Talk ever. Look up, back down. Where are we? We're at TED Bay Area, listening to me give a talk about what you don't know but should about young entrepreneurs. I'm Sumaya Kazi, and I'm sitting on a chair. And while I'm sitting on this chair, I'm looking at a lot of familiar faces. I'm looking at amazing young women, entrepreneurs, supporters of young entrepreneurs, supporters of women, and aspiring entrepreneurs. And today's talk is about that. It's about young entrepreneurship. And it's interesting because living in Silicon Valley, for all of those of you who are here, we're in quite a bubble. Here, young entrepreneurship is very commonplace. However, it's not outside of the Silicon Valley bubble. And I experienced this when I was about 20, 21. I just graduated from Cal, and I was getting really frustrated. I was getting frustrated for a lot of different reasons, and it was that frustration that led me to become an entrepreneur, to be quite honest. I became what you call an accidental entrepreneur. So what was I frustrated about? I was frustrated not seeing young people in the news. I prided myself on surrounding myself with just amazing people doing really impressive things. But you don't read about them in the news. You don't see them in the news. I was frustrated not knowing or learning about nonprofits in the news unless there was a financial or natural disaster. And then my third frustration was with the cultural community I grew up with that told me that in order to be successful, I needed to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer, or what we call the holy trinity of success. And for me, that just wasn't acceptable. And so instead of complaining about it and just kind of venting, I decided to do something about it. So I started a company at the age of 22. I was working full-time at Sun Microsystems. And to me at that time, it wasn't me starting a company. It was just me starting a pet project. It was, why don't we spotlight really amazing stories of young people and inspire others and empower others to do really great things? And lo and behold, a few years later, I finally admitted to myself that I was an entrepreneur, and I was juggling the full-time job and doing that at the same time. So what happened was the company had started called the Cultural Connect. We basically, our tenet was every week we spotlighted somebody under 35 doing amazing things in both the for-profit and not-for-profit arenas. We started with the South Asian community called the DC Connect, and that grew in popularity very quickly. So 2 months after that, we started getting requests from people in a lot of different other ethnic communities. So we launched the Mideast Connect, the Asia Connect, the Latin Connect, the Africana Connect. So fast forward those 3.5 years, my team and I had done almost 1,000 interviews of under 35 young professionals doing amazing things. And we learned a lot. Not only were we inspired and empowered and excited, and it was just a great opportunity to see what people were doing around the world, but we learned a lot about entrepreneurship, actually, and seeing the trends and talking to the individuals that we were interviewing. So just kind of for fun, we had asked them if you could describe yourself in 3 words. As a young entrepreneur, what would those be? And the 3 were fun, passionate, and crazy. And I can understand the last one. I can definitely understand crazy because I think you definitely do need to be a little crazy in order to start and run a company. We also, just kind of a fun, interesting fact based off of the survey that we had done was the majority of them, their favorite books of young entrepreneurs were Alchemist by Paulo Coelho and Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. So complete opposite spectrums. But I think the most kind of interesting thing of all the people that we were looking at their career paths. And I can't tell you how many times, and I don't have the exact percentage, but it has to be 80 plus 85% of the time, every single one of these young entrepreneurs, and I'm classifying entrepreneurs as both in the for-profit and not-for-profit because I've seen amazing nonprofits get started. And even though they're not for-profit, it's difficult to run them and start them. But not all of them had multiple career tracks. So under 35, they had 4, 5, 6 jobs. They've started and ran and failed multiple companies. They've had so much experience, and at the age of 24, 29, 32, 35, it was really crazy. And a lot of people, they look at these stories and they see the end success. They say, oh my gosh, this person, this girl, this guy is amazing because they've done so much. But what they don't see is all the challenges and struggles and risks that they've taken up until that point. Now, I mean, technology and entrepreneurship go hand in hand now. I mean, we're seeing a new generation of entrepreneurs. I loved Vivek's talk because he was really breaking down the statistics. When we think there's a lot of young entrepreneurs in the Bay Area, it really isn't. It's a much spread out demographic. But we are seeing the opportunities rise, and we are seeing a trend of young entrepreneurs saying, look, I feel like there's an opportunity for me as well. And I just wanted to share some of those stories. Some you may know, some you may not. Arshad Chaudhary was my first interview for Cultural Connect, and he was amazing. He was South Asian, he was Bangladeshi like myself, he was under 30, and he started a company called Metro Naps. And essentially, he created a company and created his own industry in the professional napping market. So he created these amazing pods and allowed businesses and airports to let their guests take naps during the day so that they can be productive later on in the day. And came up with his own idea, launched the product, wildly successful, sold it. And it was just an amazing story because you don't really hear about that. It wasn't the telltale story. We have a story of Sandy Jen, who's a co-founder of Meebo and started it with 2 other co-founders in their apartment right out of school. And they're at, I believe this number is wrong, I think they're higher, but they're doing really, really well. And their story of how they built the company and all the different challenges that they went through is phenomenal. We have Jessica Ma, who, to anybody that looks at her story is kind of a kick in the butt. Started her first company at 13. She had a company in between now and then, and now she's 19. Graduated just a little bit ago and just raised $1 million in seed funding for her company in dinero. So a 19-year-old is starting a company to help small businesses manage their finances. That's pretty incredible, right? And then we have the story of Gigi Chahal, Gurbaksh Chahal, who dropped out of high school, started his first advertising business, sold it, started his second advertising business, sold it for $350 million to Yahoo, and is now working on his third business called G-Wallet. And he, regrettably is the same exact age to the day and year. So every time we share the birthday, I look at him and I'm like, oh, great, $350 million richer. And we can't forget social entrepreneurs, and I see a rise of social entrepreneurship, especially among young entrepreneurs. So Matt and Jessica Flannery, they started a really powerful microlending platform called Kiva, 160 million in loans distributed from 750,000 lenders, and just an amazing platform. And then we have Joe Green, who a lot of people may not know, but you probably have seen his work, which is on Facebook, and it's called Causes. It's a Causes application. One of the most popular applications, but allows you to do micro donations on the social network. 17.5 million Facebook monthly actives, over 155,000 causes joined. So these are stories of entrepreneurs that have taken a lot of risks and challenges and have done really impressive things in their various spaces. So there was a recent study done by Grasshopper on young entrepreneurs under 35, and it was interesting because 44% of young entrepreneurs said that they pursued their business, started their company because they felt like there was an opportunity to make something great. That was the reason. While only 10% was about to make money and 18% was to fulfill their life dream. Gallup Studies did a study of high school students, and they found that high school students are, 7 in 10 high school students are now very interested in pursuing entrepreneurship. 6 of 10 of those are women, females, interested in entrepreneurship, which is really interesting to see how those trends are rising. I know that entrepreneurship is a bug because my brother, who's 19 and is at Cal, has started his company, and my parents don't want to hear anything about it because one of their kids has become an entrepreneur, so they want another one to be the engineer, another one to be the doctor, and you know the story. So what have I learned from all these interviews, from all the people that I've met with, the company that I've started with Cultural Connect? I'm on my second company, Sumazi. What have I learned? What have I learned from all the individuals that we've interviewed? You have to surround yourself with people smarter than yourself. Truth be told, that's what it is. They inspire you, they empower you, and they challenge you, which are really essential in entrepreneurship. Don't sit on good ideas. because everybody's sitting on them. And there's a lot of young people that I talk to that have really incredible ideas, but they don't hash it out. So talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to your colleagues, and see how you can build out those ideas. Focus on what you don't have. Focus on what you do have, not on what you don't have. And this is very common with young people because, oh, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough experience. But you'll see that you have a lot of time, you'll have energy, you have passion, you have a network, you have a lot of young and not so young people that are very excited about helping you out with your endeavors. You got to network like crazy. So this is something that I did very early on. Went to a lot of events, talked to a lot of people. Ambition, energy, humility, all very important in entrepreneurship. And if you don't think that you can do something, you probably can't. Again, this goes back to sitting on ideas. You know, I hear a lot of people that have good ideas and then think about all the reasons why they can't launch it. They don't even try. And then, you know, if you're not going to try, then it's not going to happen. And I'm just going to jump to the last one, which is you have to have a PhD mentality. And really that means to start your company, to run your company as if you are poor, hungry, and driven. Those are really, really kind of the common beliefs that I saw a lot of entrepreneurs and myself build our companies with. And now, I mean, fast forward 4 or 5 years since Cultural Connect had started, there's no shortage of inspiration. I'm really excited to see this. You can go to Business Week, top 25 under 25 entrepreneurs, Inc. top 30 under 30, CNN Young People Who Rock, Brass Magazine, you name it. There's a ton of inspiration that's out there. So for people that say, I can't do it, you can look at 1,000 stories of people that are. And what I'm doing right now is my company's focused on the number 4. So in a world, in a social network where it's 500 million people on Facebook, 175 million on Twitter, 85 million on LinkedIn, we're focused on, you know, how many friends can we get, how many people are we connected with. And with my new company, what we noticed with the Cultural Connect was we were doing the discovery process of really amazing people that you should know and you should get connected to. And we got tens and thousands of people telling us that they wanted more. They wanted better ways to connect. They wanted to learn about more people. And what my company, Sumazi, is doing right now is we're focused on connecting you intelligently to the people you don't know but should. So we're taking the idea of Cultural Connect and really growing that on a global scale and offering the opportunity for anybody, anywhere in the world to understand and get connected to the people that they should. So thank you for your time, and here's how you can get in touch with me.
Thank you so much. So next we have to the stage our next presenter, who is a freshman student at Stanford.